But let's also get an expert view on this, because remember, it is one thing to speculate, it's another thing to ask questions, but it's important to have an expert view on this. And no one better than PK Jain, is ex-additional DGP, Special Ops from the Maharashtra Police. Yashovardhan Azad is a former IPS officer and former Special Director with the Intelligence Bureau. So two senior cops, veterans from their fraternity with us live. Yashovardhan Azad, I'd like to start it off with you, sir. Why does, are we wrong in feeling that nothing seems to be adding up in everything that we've heard so far in this case, from the circumstances under which the people, the persons, whose pictures we have gained access to, how they left, the presence of CCTV cameras roaming around in Bandra, etc. You've heard the whole thing and I've seen you. Are we wrong in having this feeling, sir, that nothing adds up?
Well, Shiv, let me tell you that there are definitely inconsistencies. And some of the things which we see on ground, really surprise us. But, unfortunately, these are the realities of life. Some of the most high-profile buildings are very poorly secured. And three things I can tell you straight off. That in Bombay, where, we had criminals who were, and of the gangs well-oiled in their bodies, who could go up into high buildings, in such buildings to keep a window without grill is something shocking. It's really surprising. That's number one. Number two, the lack of sufficient number of CCTVs is also shocking on the floor of Saif. In fact, Shiv, in an ordinary building in Noida, as you already said, it's much more secure and equipped with CCTV than we see in Bombay. The third thing, most of the security guards in Bombay, they are working during the daytime, and they merely come to work to sleep at the place. Plus, they were hired from housekeeping agencies, not from a security guard agency. So some of these things are absolutely, beyond the realm of even ordinary thinking. But, 4 or 5 things in the investigation, they are very important. Now, you can't deny that the fingerprints were found over there. The sanctity of the fingerprints or the DNA of the hair taken from the cab, then the identification by the house staff when he in an identification parade, plus the recovery of the third part of the knife, this will clearly establish whether this guy is the original one or not. So in that respect, I'm saying that these 4 areas of investigation, if pursued correctly, will lead us to the right guy. Now, the third part is important, as you said. There are implications that a guy, after doing it, hangs around near the park. So did anyone ring the flying squad? Did anyone call for the 100? What was the response there in that particular time? So these are some things which the Mumbai police will definitely, actually look into. But overall, if you look at it, it's shocking, yes, that a man goes up and comes back in 1.5 hours and nobody sees him, nothing happens. But this is the grim reality in many of the places. And why they are secure, Shiv, is because nothing has happened. So that's exactly is the present status now. I do hope that Mumbai police looks into these anomalies and establishes a kind of a link up with the various, resident welfare societies, etc., etc. And also has a kind of a link up with these celebrity homes, advises them कि भाई ये grill will तो बड़ी basic चीज है. What about the private security guard? Shouldn't he be there at that time? Should driver be there all night in such places? So yes, they sound very implausible, but this is the reality.
Okay, so implausible, but that is the grim reality, says Yashovardhan Azad. There may be some inconsistencies and anomalies, but the fact that, CCTV didn't exist or the security guards were asleep, not so unrealistic. This is the grim reality of even some of the most protected parts of celebrity Mumbai, says Yashovardhan Azad. PK Jain, Many things have been said, by way of speculation. Some people are saying that, there is a cover-up and that's why there are inconsistencies in the story. The guy descending the staircase doesn't look like the man who was finally arrested. But as Yashovardhan Azad said, now there's fingerprint evidence, etc., that establishes at least some things that we can think of. How do you see this? What do you think are the anomalies or lack thereof in this story, sir?
Hi, good evening, Shiv. Thank you very much for inviting me here.
Thank you for coming, sir.
Well, I have been maintaining right from the beginning that there are certain gaps in the entire story. The FIR that was lost, there were certain gaps in that also. The things seemed very hunky-dory in the sense that it was only the maid and Saif Ali Khan who were handling the alleged culprit, but nobody else came to their rescue. And then subsequently, his being locked in a room, his slipping away from that room, there are many things which do not add up. But as Yashovardhan has very correctly said, the police has taken somebody into custody and accused into custody. Certain evidence which is verifiable is being collected or has been collected in terms of fingerprints and DNA printing, etc. So that may probably establish the fact that whether it was the same accused or he was not the same accused, because fingerprinting and everything will take a little time before the results come up.
Yeah.
But despite all what the police has done, in such cases, generally, the thief would like to get away from the scene of crime as quickly as possible, and especially after having such an incident at home where he had to stab the homeowner 6 times.
Correct.
I'm yet to see a case where the thief would lurk around the same place for such a long time.
Yeah.
And then, there are many other things which to my mind don't add up. But see, the investigating officer is the best person to comment and what evidence he has in his possession. So he has whatever he has. And the change of guard at this stage, change of the investigating officer, unless there's a major faux pas somewhere, the investigating officer is generally not changed.
Yeah,
So
I actually wanted to ask you about that because, I didn't want to cast aspersions on what may be an administrative matter. But is it normal for an IO to be changed like this right in the middle of an investigation?
No, it is not normal at all, unless, as I said, there is some faux pas, unless he has committed a mistake somewhere, unless something has happened. Generally, as I said, in 99% reckoning, unless the officer is transferred out of the police station. If there's a transfer, he's going out on promotion, etc., then yes. But if he continues in the same police station, then it is very rare that the investigation is taken away from one officer and given to another. And after such a stellar detection, I would say the police has done a wonderful job. If the accused is correct, the police has done a wonderful job in connecting the dots and arresting him from Thane. But unless there's some, I don't know. As I said, there are certain gaps in the entire story. It will take time before
the gap, because of these gaps, small or big, and I appreciate the clarification on some of those gaps being down to the grim reality of daily life. But it is the fact that these gaps continue to be there, that all kinds of conspiracy theories are being built. Now, conspiracy theories by themselves aren't a concern for the police, but there is an increasing sense that, things have been coming out in phases. First there was, minor injuries, then it became six different injuries, then it became the blade, then it became, only one maid in the house, then it suddenly became 7 different domestic helps in the house. Information of this kind has been coming out piecemeal. By itself, Mr. Azad, that's not a surprising thing. Sometimes, when cases like this are developing, information comes out in tranches. But would you like to also comment on, the change of the IO? Does that look suspicious to you at all?
Well, I can tell you in my personal case, I was DIG Bhopal in a double murder, high profile case. I felt that a particular inspector was absolutely outstanding. He was in the same police station, and we handed over the investigation to him for a speedy and effective way. So I would say that there could have been some mistake. But probably it has been given to the best guy, because there are a lot of things to be done, as Mr. Jain also said, that it will take time, the fingerprint, etc., etc. And let me tell you that I can think of many other glaring things. Why did Karina not go with him, three-wheeler? Why did that Taimur go? I mean, that was not necessary. Why didn't responsible? And now, for example, the other thing I'll tell you. See, the four fellows who hid inside the room, the male staff, and
Yeah.
it's something really shocking. But if you see on the roads, a guy bullying and butchering his lover on the street, and there are people standing around taking mobiles, photographs, but no one even interfering. This is India for you. This is a very sad part. Then again, so many things are happening. Nobody rings up the control room. Nobody rings up the flying squad. And the police has also not told us what exactly happened. That did they immediately rush to the spot? Did they scour around the area? Did they throw these layers of teams than only for investigation? So there are many inconsistencies like this.
Yeah.
But material part, thank God, there were four things which are very important. One, an excellent investigator. Second, an excellent interrogator, that what happened in that building, why they didn't see this guy. The third, a forensics guy for picking up the right evidence. And fourth, the guy who's using the AI tool, because you have to make that face out, ferreting it out from various places. And that's why I say in those two areas, good work has been done.
Okay, stay with me, Mr. Azad, and stay with me, Mr. Jain. I just want to take our viewers a little bit closer to the story because Saif Ali Khan has thankfully been discharged from hospital. He's been treated, he's looking well, and he's back on his feet and he's back home. But the attacker's identity has raised many questions about security, not just at Saif Ali Khan and other celebrity residences, but literally at India's borders, because the accused who stabbed Saif was arrested from Thane, but he happens to be a Bangladeshi national. His route of crime has shocked many. Take a look at his journey from Bangladesh to Bandra.
Bollywood superstar Saif Ali Khan was stabbed allegedly by Mohammad Shariful Islam Shehzad, a 30-year-old Bangladeshi national, at his Bandra home on January 16th. Shariful was tracked down by the police after he made a UPI transaction to buy parathas and a bottle of water in Worli. During the interrogation, Shariful allegedly claimed that he is an illegal immigrant. India Today fact-check tried to trace his footsteps from Bangladesh. Shariful was allegedly a resident of Rajabaria village of the Jhalokati district in Bangladesh. He reportedly entered India through Meghalaya, crossing the Dauki river on the border. Shariful then allegedly travelled to West Bengal. He stayed there for a few weeks before moving to Mumbai in search of job. India Today reporters got in touch with Shariful's father, Ruhul Amin Fakir, who used to work in a jute mill. He told India Today Fact Check that his son illegally migrated to India in April 2024. While in India, Shariful worked at a restaurant in Mumbai and regularly sent money to his father in Bangladesh. Shariful's father admitted that his son's track record at home was not the best. He also shared Shariful's Bangladeshi voter ID card, along with the charge sheet filed against him by the CID of Bangladesh. But Ruhul Amin Fakir insisted that his son is being framed. The arrest of Mohammad Shariful Islam Shehzad in the Saif stabbing case has put the focus on illegal immigration from Bangladesh and the need for better policing along the border. With Arvind Ojha, Bureau Report, India Today.
A high-profile crime in a high-profile part of the city. The person at the center of this entire case, a big Bollywood star, and his family, one of the most famous families of Bollywood, is at the center of this entire case, and that's the reason why it has gotten so much media attention. In case you've been wondering, but PK Jain. the kind of speculation, the kind of, damaging questions, the kind of very, very irresponsible conspiracy theories that came up during the Sushant Singh Rajput case is something that happened very, very recently. And I noticed that some media coverage is going in that direction. Here on India Today, we're asking very, very factual questions. But, the memory of how, anomalies, lack of proper information, etc., led to an absolute explosion of very, very, very irresponsible reporting on that story makes me want to ask the same question here. Is there a need for greater clarity from the police?
Shiv, actually, the police should not and cannot divulge the details of investigation. Some bare factual information, yes, they may be able to share with the media, but the line of investigation, what exactly they've done, what exactly they are doing, I don't think that should come into the public domain.
Sure.
Because see, all these days, for the first almost 3 days, there was no breakthrough in the case at all. Now, if the police start giving theories, it damages the case more than it helps. Because, recently, if you remember, in a case, where the police had given a statement, and see, in this case of that Badlapur encounter, the court has heavily relied on the statement given by the investigating officer or the police officer before the media, and the statement made by him in the court were very different.
Yes.
So I don't think the police should come to the media without any preparation. The basic details, yes, they can certainly share, but the line of investigation, the better parts of investigation, they should not and they must not share with the media. I mean, speculations, see, about the celebrities, the speculations are, I think they are natural, because every, channel wants a news story, they want a breaking news and all that.
You're
but
right.
I think we should not fall into that trap and keep ourselves to a professional conduct altogether.
I completely agree with you. I'm absolutely on the same page with you on that because Yashovardhan Azhar, you remember it as well. The way things just went completely out of hand during the Sushant Singh Rajput case. Anything and everything was being peddled as fact. And I see signs that things could go down that route this time as well. I hope they don't. Certain lessons have most definitely been learned. There have been consequences as well. But here as well, we're looking at all the ingredients of another kind of eternal pot boiler where, we are left in the dark.
Yes, as Mr. Jain rightly said, because, this case was absolutely in the dark for the first 3 days. So there were a lot of surmises and, conspiracy theories and all that were coming out. Regarding media briefing, Shiv, I have my view. And whenever I was there in the district or here, I would either have a trained veteran who has been doing this for 2-3 years. That is because it is when there is a high profile case like this, as you rightly said, there are various, that there is fear, there is apprehension, there is a lot of query on the part of the public. So they also need to be assuaged. After all, anything is for the people. So
Correct.
Either there should be a veteran officer who comes, or you have your spokesman who come and talk about the basic facts, as Mr. Jain also said, and tell them, okay, this is there, nothing to get scared about. This has happened in a particular area. This does not mean that Bandra is going in flames and things like that, because many people are talking about, theft in Bandra and what will happen to a common man, what will happen to other people. So there is a way of doing it. In this particular case, that is why, after assuring the public that, like, for example, you said this guy was hanging around, in the lawns nearby. Now, that certainly creates a scare that we have more and more outsiders like Bangladeshi. Bangladeshis here, and it might happen. But there is one thing in the end, I'll definitely say, Shiv, that this kind of entry and this kind of a crime committed by an Bangladeshi immigrant who has just come about a few months back does have security implications. And if the police today go through a verification process everywhere in all the states, it will be good for us.
Important to get to the truth because there are implications in this case that go like Yashovardhan Azad rightly said, beyond just that building and this particular case. If indeed the attacker was all the way from Bangladesh, there are literally national security implications to what has happened. We will continue to report with facts, not with sensationalism, not with conspiracy theories, but with facts and questions sensitively delivered right here on India Today. Yashovardhan Azad, PK Jain, a pleasure. Thank you very much for your time and for being with me here on this broadcast.